With Andrew out for at least the rest of the season and with the Bucks pressing for a playoff berth, rumours begin to swirl about Milwaukee potentially trading their former number 1 draft pick. The Bucks are reportedly keen to bolster their current squad with some ready-made players in the hope of making a playoff run. Andrew's NBA rollercoaster is taking yet another twist.
They approached me and said, would you be interested? And I said, yeah, if you've got something on the table, go for it. And they said, look, we might trade you right now because some teams kind of have expressed their interest. I kind of knew through my agent which teams were interested, which I won't say on record, but I knew there was a couple of teams that were making offers. And to be honest, all 3 of them at the time that I'd heard were fine with me. And then basically got that call from my agent. I said, you're going to Golden State.
What was your outsider impression of the Golden State Warriors?
Warriors were always a team that you kind of get your stats against, kind of a team that hadn't had a lot of success. It was a new ownership group and new coaching staff, which were about a year old. They really tried to change the culture.
Were you pleased to come?
Yeah, I was. I think the time was up in Milwaukee, unfortunately. For me personally, we didn't have a lot of success the last year or two. I had a lot of injuries, so people were down on me. I think the club did a pretty smart thing in moving me while I was hurt to get some value back. The GM called me in Milwaukee, which was pretty respectful of him, and said, thanks for everything, and we've sent you to a place that you'll like. The owner called me and then said my goodbyes, and then within 12 hours was on a plane headed out here. I bought a house in Milwaukee that was full of all this furniture, and the next day I was gone. You don't even have a chance to pack a bag, so you're out of there. I still got to move all this stuff from the Midwest to the West Coast, get my car out here, finding stuff that I'm missing, losing stuff along the way, and that's just a part of it.
That's business, isn't it?
That's when you realise it's business.
Did it hurt your feelings?
Nah, it's strictly business. It's strictly business. I mean, I love Milwaukee. I love being there. Cold got to me a little bit, but I think that time had come where I was ready to go and they were ready to let me go. And you can't take it personal. You know, some guys have been traded 10 times in their career, and at the end of the day, you can't really control the business side of things, and a lot of it these days is financial. Salary caps change, and a lot of teams now are just trading to get under the cap.
I know you say it's only business. Was there any emotion involved at all?
At the time, I was excited to go to a new city and get a fresh start. But when we went back to Milwaukee, I was on that trip, and just driving in from Chicago to Milwaukee, seeing the Milwaukee sign was kind of brought back memories. And like I said earlier, I think, you know, part of my adolescence and teenage years and growing into a young man was in Wisconsin. So it'll always have a special place in my heart. I have a lot of friends there that I miss to this day.
Did you feel like you had unfinished business leaving Milwaukee? Did you have some sense of regret?
A little bit. I mean, my biggest regret probably is getting hurt in 2009, 2010 when I broke my elbow and my arm and that horrific accident, because I really felt like we could have beaten Atlanta in that first round series and had a special year.
And that was probably the peak of your form too.
Yeah,
wasn't
definitely. That was a career year for me. You know, I was all NBA, third team, and had a really good year. And I was confident and I was feeling good and strong. And that was the last time I felt that way.
Has that given you confidence though, when you sit back and you think, last time I felt great, this is what I could do. I know it's still in there somewhere if I can just get my body right.
And that's a big if. Can I get my body right? You know, can I get a lucky break of not having an off season where I have to focus on rehab, where I can focus on, okay, I need to work on X, Y, Z. I had a bad year doing this. I can just go in the gym and focus on that.
It's March 2012, and Andrew Bogut arrives at his new home in Oakland, just north of San Francisco, to join the Golden State Warriors. A relatively low-profile franchise on the NBA spectrum, but one fueled by passionate and loyal fans right across the Bay Area. Starved of recent success, with just one playoff appearance in the last 18 seasons, the Warriors are hoping that Andrew, once his current ankle injury is healed, can be the X-Factor big man they've been coveting for so long, the missing piece of their puzzle.
It was a great opportunity, and for us it was a no-brainer. You know, we had a guy like Klay Thompson behind Monta Ellis, and Klay had a tremendous upside. And to be able to get a big man, in my opinion, behind Dwight Howard, you know, he's in the discussion for the best big man around. His ability to impact offensively, defensively, rebounding, great rim protector. It was a no-brainer and an easy trade for us.
When you first arrived at Golden State, were you nervous? How was it compared to turning up to Milwaukee for the first time?
A little nervous, obviously. It was frustrating too because I came to the team in a moon boot and was still rehabbing. So you come with all this attention and you're in a big trade, and then all of a sudden you can't play. So everyone's getting antsy, and it kind of built up pressure on myself and on everybody.
You played that first game. Even though in the lead-up you'd suggested that, look, I want to leave it until I'm 100%. What changed? Because when you went out there and you did play, you weren't 100%.
Probably just competitiveness. I thought I was close, to be honest. But you forget the grind of the NBA with 4 and 5 nights and whatnot, traveling on planes and sleeping in hotel beds. After like the 4th game, I went to push off my ankle and it just didn't push off. It just rolled over itself like a piece of jelly and I didn't go anywhere. I told the trainer, something's not right. And we did some testing on it and the strength was 0 out of 10, the flexibility, mobility was 0 out of 10. I had pockets of swelling everywhere and I had no choice but to shut it down. I could have kept playing, but I knew that I couldn't help the team or play well with the way it was.
So it was frustration all over again?
Yeah, it was. But I kind of rushed into it too. I'm not going to lie, I wanted to play the first game of the season and put that injury stigma behind me, but I just couldn't.
So once again, Andrew finds himself on the outside looking in. Sidelined indefinitely while he rehabs his ankle, which is proving more troublesome than he and the Warriors medical staff had hoped. The expectation to perform for his new team as their big-name recruit adds to his burden. The fresh start he was hoping for suddenly isn't looking so fresh.
Has the last couple of years and the rough times you've had, has that hardened your shell a little bit?
A little bit to that, yeah. You can't read into newspaper articles and people's tweets and whatnot. There's always going to be people that write negative things to get attention, and there's always going to be people that give their honest opinion and don't like you. That's just the reality of it. As long as I'm doing everything I can and I know, deep down inside that I've tried my best, that's all that matters.
Andrew endures another 3 months on the sidelines before returning to NBA action, having once again rehabbed his surgically repaired ankle sufficiently to at least get out there and contribute to the Golden State Warriors playoff push. The ankle is still troubling him each night. And amazingly, despite all the dark times Andrew's endured in recent years watching on from the sidelines, it's only now, once he's returned to play at a level less than what he was previously used to, that his mind starts to play tricks with thoughts of premature retirement.
You managed to string games together and minutes together now, which is obviously the first step of the process. I mean, you can't play well unless you're playing, so at least you've got that out of the way. Have you found it a little frustrating to be Andrew Bogut but not be Andrew Bogut?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And that's a part of what I have to go through. I think this is a big test for me as a person, as a man, and not playing well offensively. And a lot of people are asking what's happened to the old Andrew Bogut, and the only person that can answer that is me.
The reason he's not highly thought of is because he just can't stay healthy for an NBA season.
You get people writing you off, you internalize whether hey, am I done? Are these people right? So you can't listen to it too much, but at the same time, I think you need to just keep that as a motivation.
Rebound-wise, you're putting up some great numbers. Offensively, not putting up as many points as you like. Is that just a touch thing?
I think my touch isn't there as much offensively, but also, I'm not getting as many, not even a quarter of the touches I was getting in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, I was probably the number 1, number 2 guy offensively, and that's not a problem. I've kind of been out of the lineup. Our team established their identity and culture without me being hurt, and started winning games. So I kind of want to come to the lineup and not create a swell in the water, as to say, and just rebound and play defense. So I focus on that. I think I did a pretty decent job on that, and the offense will take care of itself this time.
When you think about our locker room, we've got a bunch of young guys. We've got a bunch of guys that have not experienced success. They've not played at the high level when the lights are at its brightest. And to bring in that into our locker room and to play against it, practice against it, and to be expected to play playoff basketball and know that your starting center is not afraid of the moment. He's been there and done that. It gives you a confidence and an air about you that becomes contagious.
As a coach, have you had to manage his frustration almost, as it were? Because, again, as a player, you know what you're capable of when you're fully fit, and he's been through this period, and he comes to a new club and he's obviously keen to impress, and you almost have to sort of hold him back at times, don't you?
I think as a coach, you certainly manage the frustration because he knows how good he is, and he knows when he's healthy what he's capable to do. So you see him sometimes shake his head. So as a coach, and even as some of his teammates, you got to remind them, we know it's a process. Don't beat yourself up. We're just fine with who you are and where we're headed. At the end of the day, when you're healthy, we're going to be just right. So you've got to pretty much talk to him and talk him through it, understanding that it's a process, and he's a great player, and we're going to have a lot of success around here with him.